Morning, Browns fans. Spencer German here with you from Gillette Stadium. Anthony Moeglin alongside on the home front as we get you ready for Browns and Patriots. Week 8 of the season. Browns go on the bye next week, so this is a pretty big one today. As always, I want to remind you to head on over to roundtable.io/sports/NFL/Browns and join us where you can find all the latest news on the Cleveland Browns, but also be part of the community. Join the page, join the community, and you can get involved in the conversation we're going to have throughout the game via our community thread, so please join us there. Also, if you haven't subscribed already to our channel here on YouTube, please do so as well. We appreciate the support, and we got you covered, as always, with everything Cleveland Browns. So, Megs, I want to start just on the injury front. We know kind of coming in what things kind of looked like already. David Njoku is questionable. Aiden Huntington is questionable. Obviously, Huntington's a key special teamer, but the big one there is Njoku. And then also on Saturday, the team downgraded, I should say, Shedeur Sanders to questionable with a back issue as Bailey Zappi was promoted off the practice squad. So that is at least one thing to watch sort of pregame to see what the backup quarterback situation is going to be. And, of course, what's going to happen with David Njoku, because we know he's an important part of this offense. And on a day like we've talked about this week, Anthony, where where it feels like Dylan Gabriel is going to have to perform today, like he's going to have to make some plays today, it'd be nice to have one of his best options out there on the field.
Yeah, did you think we were going to hit Bailey Zappi twice this week? We got two Bailey Zappi references this week. We were talking about the last time the Patriots played the Browns when Bailey Zappi was the quarterback of the Patriots and kind of rolled through Cleveland and when we were back in Ohio here. But as for today, it's the Njoku one's the biggest one. You know, you want to have him out there. You obviously missed last week, but like he was around and you've been at practice all week. So he's been, in and out of practices, limited all week long. It just would be great to have him back from a number of different reasons, right from the offensive perspective, but also just he's the emotional leader of this team. Like he's one of those. Yeah. He's one of those guys that if you want to get a huge win going into the bye week, you want to be at full strength, and having Njoku out there would be massive for him.
Yeah, it'd be important. We'll see what his status ends up being before the game obviously kicks off. We'll sort of watch what happens pregame during warmups and all that. But it would be huge for Gabriel to have him out there because this is, I think, going to be a big and important day for him overall. From there, I wanted to because listen, we just talked about the quarterback situation and Shedeur Sanders' injury. There were some interesting quotes that I know The Athletic put out there from Jimmy Haslam down at like the annual in-season owners meetings that they have. And I thought there was a couple that stood out, but the first one I wanted to hit on was he mentioned something along the lines of how Dylan Gabriel, hasn't necessarily had very, very long of a chance to sort of go out there and play, and that they want to see more from him, and they're sort of going to like give him some time here to see what he can do. And I think that's important context for the quarterback situation this week in particular, as we get ready for the bye week next week, because like I said, we've talked about this game being one where Gabriel might have to perform his best to make some plays and push the ball down the field and all those different things. I think that's very true. But even if he doesn't play well, I am not anticipating a quarterback change after the bye week, Meg, just because it's the bye week. I know we initially talked about that maybe being the point where, okay, maybe you make the switch here, but that was more so like Flacco to Gabriel potentially if Flacco had played better. And so I don't know, like, if anybody's anticipating, like, if Gabriel stinks today, there's going to be a quarterback change. I don't see that coming. I think they want to give Gabriel some time. And frankly, he's only had 3 weeks, and it's been 3 weird weeks. You go to London, you get a Steelers game where you feel like you're pressured every play, and then last week the weather sort of didn't allow him to do much, and you just kind of played within the structure of the offense. Like, if you were going to make the change when you made the change after week 4, you're doing a disservice if you don't give him a little bit of a runway here to just kind of see what he can do before you consider making the change to Shedeur Sanders. So I'm not anticipating that. Nobody else should either.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. And today, like, look behind you today. Like, it's a little cold, but it looks like it's going to be a nice day. And today's a great opportunity for this pass game, and one that this is the one. Like, today is a day where if you're Dylan Gabriel, you need to have it today. You need to have your A game today because the Patriots' pass defense is susceptible. And I'm certainly not expecting him to throw for 400 yards today, but it needs to look a lot better. And I hope the conversation after this game and into the bye week isn't you and I like, oh, maybe we should give him another chance. Maybe they should give him another chance. It's, hey, he took advantage of the Patriots game, looked good, and now he earned himself a couple more weeks. I hope that's more the conversation, but I think you're right. It's just they've put themselves in a really weird situation. We knew this was coming. We've known this since April 20 whatever last year, since the second day of the draft. We knew that this day would be coming. These couple weeks would be coming. Be interesting to see how they handle it. I'm like firmly in the camp of give him a few more weeks to let him try to prove himself. But to do that, you got to win and you got to play good. You have to play good to earn that. And today is like the day to show that and do that.
Yeah, listen, I think he does need to play well today. I still don't necessarily think if he plays poorly, it means a change is coming. I think it's one of those things where he's going to get a little bit of a leash here. I think that conversation becomes more topical about a month from now. Like end of November, going into December, if he still is just kind of playing ho-hum and you're not really seeing a lot of progress, like then I think it's the point where you say, okay, season at that point could very well be in the toilet by then. Who knows? And so you kind of set yourself up to those last like 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, let's put Shedeur out there and see what he can do. So anybody who's anticipating that conversation to come now, I don't think it's going to happen. What?
I'm just sitting here thinking after you said the Flacco thing, like if you look back in our YouTube channel, there's a couple shows in there where I had Flacco taking the Browns to this point, the Browns being 4-4 and being in playoff contention. Man, it's so funny.
What a world you were living in.
Oh, it wasn't all that crazy. It wasn't all that crazy, but it's wild how it's all
I was going to bring up another quote from the conversation with Jimmy Haslam at the owners' meetings, because another thing that he mentioned was that he thought Kevin Stefanski. Well, you had the exact quote pulled up, right? Can you read it for me?
This comes from Diana Rossini, right from Jimmy Haslam, and the quote is, "We made a big trade that didn't work out, and we're all suffering from that. Kevin, I thought, really did a great job of rallying the troops last week during a really critical time."
Listen, it's another mention of the trade not working out. It's another suggestion that like he's given them another chance. And the line about how last week he rallied the troops at a critical time, I think that's pretty telling to me. And on two fronts, because Anthony, I do think that tells us he was watching closely last week.
Yes.
Right? Like he was going to see how the team responded last week to a bad Dolphins team, all those things. And that he's happy with the way that they went out there and played. So I maybe like timing is part of this, but to me, that's one thing. I also it feels like that quote also sort of suggests that what we've sort of figured was going to be the case is going to be the case, that these guys, him and Andrew Berry, both kind of have a mulligan here, and that he doesn't plan on firing them no matter how the season sort of goes from here. Now that could always change. You lose with the Jets after the bye week, maybe we're having a different conversation. But again, I think right now as things stand, it's kind of status quo from that standpoint, where you have an owner who seems willing and committed to this group, even in a year that might end poorly, similar to last year.
Yeah, no doubt. And I also think, too, that, we talked about it maybe 2 weeks ago with the looming Deshaun coming back from his Achilles injury. Like, this is now the second time that Jimmy said that this trade has failed, I don't know. It's not you. There's people in my life who are saying Deshaun's going to play. Like, no, he's not. He's not playing football again in Cleveland.
It's not that like there's a world where like by default, Dylan Gabriel gets hurt, Shedeur Sanders gets hurt, he's able to come back. So you got there's a world where he could play, for sure. But I your sentiments though I think are valid. Where I don't necessarily think they're planning on him playing. I think they want to just get through this year. And my belief still is that they're going to try to, at that point, cut ties, make him a June 1st cut, and just eat the money. Because if the owner is openly calling this like a swing and a miss, like he did it earlier in the year, or he's saying, we missed what was the line from this quote again?
We made a big trade that didn't work out.
We made a big trade that
we're all suffering from that. Yeah.
Right. If he's making those statements and he's like doubling down on it, to me, that tells me they're ready to move on. Like they're putting that to bed. Like they're not moving forward with that being in the forefront of their mind. They have other plans and they're embracing this youth movement. That's what that tells me.
That'll be a day in Cleveland, man. Holy cow. That'll be some kind of day. But anyway, you talk about Kevin specifically in this, looping it back to today, right? If Jimmy thinks that, hey, he did a good job last week against the lowly Dolphins, if he's got this team playing today and they're in this football game, and let's just play in a world where they win this football game, I think that is like that calms everything. All of that talk puts water on all of it. Because then you can look back and you can point to a couple different games where you probably should have won, you didn't. But then this is a game you go steal, right? You have to do that in the NFL. You have to steal games you're not supposed to win. This would be a good one today where where the Browns have a great opportunity to get one. They're definitely underdogs in, but they're not playing world-beating team. They are playing a really hot team, but not a team that's a bunch of world beaters.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Like the moment you beat somebody that you're not supposed to beat, I think that speaks volumes, right? Otherwise, like the Dolphins game last week, I think was a big litmus test. He passed.
Yeah.
You'll get the Jets game in a couple weeks. That's another game that's like you kind of go into it on eggshells a little bit like, well, if you lose this one, what does that say about your team? So if you beat a team that you're not supposed to beat, I think you kind of put yourself in the clear overall versus like going into some of these games, the Raiders matchup, even like some of these games you'll go into, it'll always be like, they should win this one. Can they win? Like, you'll ask those questions and you'll sort of wonder if he's totally safe if that's the case. So I'm with you. It does seem like they are sort of sticking to the guns of, hey, these guys are going to be back next year. And that's, what I've kind of said from the beginning, but you just never know. Megs, the other thing I think that was it for our main topics. We wanted to save the last couple of minutes per usual for a bold prediction from the game today, and then we'll give our predictions as well, which we also wrote about over at roundtable.io/sports/NFL/Brown.
Okay, bold prediction from me today. I got the Browns. Okay, I got them getting after Drake May, and I'm thinking we're going to intercept Drake May twice today, 2 picks. And we get a repeat pick 6. We get Denzel Ward this week with the pick 6, and Dyson Campbell gets his second interception. I think they get after Drake May, and my bold prediction is 2 interceptions, 1 back to the house for the Browns defense.
I like that. I was actually going to say Myles Garrett 2 sacks. I don't know if that's that bold, but I was going to say Myles Garrett 2 sacks to sort of fall in line with that. But I'll do you one better.
2 sacks. We said bold predictions, dude. Bold predictions.
Harold Fannin 2 touchdowns today, and
Whoa.
one is not. He'll throw a touchdown pass.
Harold Fannon's throwing a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Trick play. Harold Fannin throwing a touchdown. Whoa. Now that's a bold prediction. That's what we're talking about right there. That's it right there. Hey,
I love Megs. I love that Megs is policing the bold
on National Tight End Day too. On National Tight End Day.
That's what I'm saying. National Tight End Day. I think he catches one, and I think he throws one. But even if he doesn't catch one, I'll stand by. I think he gets it. I think he throws one. There you go.
For National Tight End Celebration. There you go. The people at home don't know this. Before we get to our predictions for the game. You're a big fan of Boston. You were gallivanting the streets of Boston yesterday. How was it? Was it a beautiful day?
I honestly think most people do know that about me already. So, sort of to a fault, I think, in some respects. But no, it was a good time. I always enjoy myself here in this town. I mean, I guess not in this town specifically because I'm in Foxborough right now, but I enjoy myself here in Boston. A lot of good food, a lot of good things to do. I could spend days here, and my view was immaculate. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but out my window this morning, looking across the harbor. Oh man, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
So this
I could get used to it.
For everybody at home that always questions Germ's picture of Fenway Park right behind his shoulder when he's at home, this explains it. Big Red Sox guy, big Boston guy, doing the harbor thing, clam chowder, all that stuff. Yeah.
I did have some clam chowder last night. Anyway, Megs, what is your official score prediction for the game today?
Okay, while my bold prediction is a pick 6 and the boys getting after Drake May a little bit, I do think today is going to be really tough for the Browns to win, right? I obviously want them to win. I do think it's going to be a battle, though, for them to do so. Drake May is playing at an MVP caliber level. He's playing – nobody in NFL is playing better quarterback than he is. And this team's tough, and they believe, right? This is a Mike Vrabel coach team. It's got all of the ingredients that your typical good Mike Vrabel teams have. So it's going to be hard today. I do think that my prediction is Patriots 24, Browns 20. I do think it's going to have the personality of every Browns game. The Browns are going to be close, may even have a lead going into halftime, and then a third quarter where maybe Drake May hits on a couple big balls, big plays. Pushes the Patriots up to a little bit of a lead. The Browns try to claw back into it. I have in my actual prediction a potential game-winning drive fizzling out for Dylan Gabriel and the Browns offense, but I think they keep it close. They keep it competitive, but ultimately my prediction is the Browns head into the bye week losers with a 2-6 record.
I'm questioning your bold, the pairing of your bold prediction with your actual prediction. You took off Drake May twice, and you're going to lose. I mean, honestly, with this team, it wouldn't be that surprising.
Hey, did you know a funny quote? Hey, a funny quote from last week in the locker room after the game. Kevin was like, "Turn the team over 4 times, or win the turnover battle by 4." He said he made a quote of like, you'll never lose a game like that. He was speaking to the team, and I was like,
hey, don't test the football gods, Kev. Don't test those football gods.
Don't test them.
That he'll do like the hold my drink thing, and he'll just be like, 4 turnovers, and you still lose somehow.
Yes.
Similar predictions for you and I. I'm going to say Patriots 23, Browns 17. So Harold Fan is going to score both touchdowns for the Browns today. Listen, I think because of what New England's good at, I think it's going to be a problem for the offense today. Like, I think the Browns defense, to your point, is going to get after Drake May, especially in the first half. Like, the first half could be pretty ugly, like a slugfest, sort of slog of a game in general. And then I think in the second half, they start to be able to do some things, and they put enough points on the board to kind of get out of here and escape with a win. So 23-17 is my final score prediction. Patriots win over the Browns. I just worry about this offense and the fact that, they're not going to probably be able to run the football much today. They're a very good run-stopping team, and that's supposed to be their strength. They're going to load up in the box and dare Dylan Gabriel to beat them. And at this point, I don't know that I believe Dylan Gabriel can do that. He's got to show me. He could, and if he does, I think people will be very excited about it. But he's got to show me first. So we'll see what happens. I think that's part of the reason why they got to dig into the bag of tricks a little bit and get Harold Fannin throwing the football, because I don't know how that much success they're going to have moving it. But that's my prediction for you, 23-17 Patriots.
It's we got a little bit of Browns juju here. Nathan Zagura just tweeted this out. This comes from Jason Gibbs. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of Jim Donovan's passing. And how fitting is it that we're playing in his hometown today? So hey.
That is true. He is a big Boston guy. You're right about that. I mean, there was some eerie Jim Donovan voodoo magic last year against the Ravens at home, so maybe that plays a role. I forgot to mention this too, Megs. We always talk about the Browns losing streak in Pittsburgh during the regular season. Oh. The Browns haven't won here since 1992. I mean, not this specific building. There was a different stadium at the time, but they haven't won in Foxborough since 1992. Something's got to give here. Maybe the Jim Donovan thing plays a role. Maybe that streak plays a role. Who knows? Hey. But I found it wild that the Browns haven't won in New England. And I know they've only played there like a handful of times over that span because they don't play the Patriots every year. But the fact that the Patriots were always, one of the best teams in football for a lot of that stretch. So it's not like the Browns are seeing them very often. But I was blown away that they haven't won here since 1992. That's pretty crazy.
1992, a long time ago. That was before my time. So we're calling on Uncle Jim. Let's go. He's going to be up there watching down, just like he did last year against the Ravens, where he blocked that ball from Kyle Hamilton, who had it like in his hands. Yeah. He knocked it away. And hopefully we get a little juju there. That'd be pretty cool.
We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it works. We'll see if Jim Donovan is, in fact, in the building in sort of some mysterious ways. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us here pregame. Make sure you head on over to roundtable.io/sports/NFL/Browns. The link is at not the link, but the URL is at the bottom there on the scroll. So you can join our community and be part of the conversation. We'll have a game thread going for you. And also stay over there and check out all of our premium content as well. We'll have you covered with inactives before the game. We'll have my post-game column. We'll have some other stuff in the locker room. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, because we'll have you covered with post-game press conferences and all that good stuff as well. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you post-game. Enjoy the game and keep on following along with all things Cleveland Browns with Cleveland Browns Roundtable.